Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons The Second Age. How are we all doing?
We're doing good. Well, I'm doing good.
Yeah,
I can't
pretty
speak for
good.
everyone.
Good, excellent. So, without further ado, let's jump right in and somebody tell me what it is that happened the last time we played this game.
Right, so we started last time. Did we start with...
We started
with
with
going to get more information on this job regarding being private investigators
Yes.
for House Vismus.
Correct.
Over the death under suspicious circumstances of a scion by the name of Istavir Ziltes. So we got some details on the. We got our details on the case. Went to go and see the body. Had a far too long debate on whether or not it'd be easier to just resurrect him and asked him who killed him.
Which was bad.
Yeah, it took way too long, and honestly, nothing was earned other than the disgust of the guy who'd hired us. I imagine he was probably slightly regretting his life choices, but whatever. But yeah, we got some details. Key suspect is his partner. What was it, Ranagar Nerth?
Yep.
Whom we were told had various arguments of a domestic nature with the victim before his death. And there was also the potential to question a close friend, Visha, who was supposedly close friends with both of them. But we started our investigation questioning Visha, but she, I guess she wasn't necessarily willing to tell us anything too new, given how many times she must have been questioned by other people acting on behalf of House Vismus. So we figured we'll go and visit their house, see if we can't catch Ranagar. We found a very, very poor guardsman who we just slightly confused. But, you know, we went into the house, we did some poking around. We, of course, found the scene. It had been mostly cleared up. We found some interesting notes in the house's study, which indicated plans for construction which the victim had been involved in, which, unlike the rest of his notes on other similar projects, he had no build plans for, which sort of enabled us to have a theory of maybe it was something to do with shady business dealings that he's been keeping on the down low, because it all ties in with what we've been told of his partner had informed. Oh yeah, and his partner later confirmed that he'd been working increasingly from home over the last number of weeks, which was unusual, but had been happening for a while, so he hadn't thought to question it. It was also obviously unusual that his partner testifies that when he returned to the house on the day of the murder, the doors had still been locked. So obviously that's a weird thing to bear in mind. We did also find a smear of blood on the inside of the curtains of the study, which, is consistent with the scar on the hand, and we think means there was an initial struggle there that somehow went up to the bedroom where he was eventually killed. Have I missed anything? I had a bit of a ramble there.
That sounds like the key points.
yeah, I think you did mention. Did you mention what we're going to do next?
Did not.
You did.
No, I did not.
Yeah. So based on what we've discovered, is all that we are going to have a look if House.
Ziltus.
There it is, Ziltus. Yes. Know anything about any construction plan?
Which I'm sure they'll love us poking our noses into.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna have to find a way.
Yeah.
Well, like
Well-
I said, if they realise that we are private investigators, they might be, as has been suggested, they might be more lenient.
Yes,
Yeah, but
your contact within House Ziltus, the dwarf rung, mentioned that you should avoid mentioning your affiliation with House Ziltus due to historic rivalries potentially causing a conflict of interest. But yeah, so the next day you wake up in your rooms in the Super Inn, and yeah, are you heading straight to the House Ziltus building, or
Well, I think we need to work on our
Or
our
plan.
cover story. Yeah, our plan. Because obviously, if we still want to lean in with the private investigator that gets us the information, we're going to have to tell them we're working for someone.
Well, perhaps our friend,
Unless-
the innkeeper here, can knows who's in their good graces, or can give us some tips.
yeah, you can have a conversation with Nor.
Like, let's see, because this is, although this is a Rastus establishment.
Yeah, it has Rastris affiliation.
Yes, okay, but I think that will do. He seems like a decent guy.
I suppose Rastris and Ziltus must, in many ways, collaborate fairly often,
Yeah.
given the nature of the two's work.
It
Yeah, but
certainly
that does-
seems like that from the way of the city as well.
But that doesn't mean they like each other. So
True.
careful with assumption.
It's probably better than historic rivals, though.
Well,
Unless Ziltus is historic rivals with everyone, in which case we're fucked.
when in that, what we have is we have someone who might be able to answer those questions.
True.
Shall we? Well, I guess we might as well ask him. If, like, it's not like we're gonna take a long time or anything. It's right downstairs.
Yeah, you head downstairs and grab some breakfast. Nor comes over, brings you some bowls, porridge. Just sort of you catch him as he's about to leave.
Yes. And I can't help but forget his name over and over. You said it so
Nor.
many times now, Nor. So Nor, Nor, before you go,
Yep.
I know you're busy right now, but could you help us with a few questions in a bit about the city?
Sure. What kind of questions?
We're kind of just how the houses relate to each other. We don't want to accidentally upset anyone, that kind of thing.
He sort of grimaces a little and says, "Well, that's a bit of a balancing act, really. All the houses have history. I mean, this place wasn't exactly built overnight, but some are certainly more amicable than others. What
Yeah.
exactly
Well,
hoping to find out?"
Well, we're gonna have to. Well, we're hoping that someone from House Ziltus can help us today. However, we already heard that they aren't happy with everyone. We were a little worried we might step on their toes if we didn't watch out.
He sort of scratches the edge of his mouth and just sort of says, "Yeah, that much is true. They're not exactly on best terms with Visimus. They have a tenuous at best relationship with Domator. Rastris and Ziltus get along reasonably well, but Rastris tends to get along with most people, at least as long as there's profit in it."
Ah, yes.
Certainly sounds like businessmen.
Well, I guess as long as we, as long as we don't ask any strange questions or anything, or do anything out of the ordinary, we should be fine, I guess.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, Zoltas are usually pretty amenable, particularly if they'll be willing to help you if you're willing to help them. It's generally how things go with them.
Okay. I think we can work with that.
Is that all?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, well, thanks for the porridge.
Sort of nods and then turns back to what he was doing.
Well, I don't think we learned too much from it, but I
I
guess
think it's just best to tread carefully.
I feel like we might be able to arrange a
Exchange of favors.
if it comes to it. I'm still unsure how much we should mention about the investigation.
I mean, I think if possible, we should start by not.
Yeah. Well, because we are, of course, looking into one of their own, but I imagine if they think we have, well, malicious intent of any kind or trying to defame me, they might be a little hesitant, if not hostile. We are not making any light accusations here.
Hmm.
Well, shall we see what we're up against?
So,
Guess then all we need to do is find wherever they hang out.
That is not difficult. In your treks throughout the city, you have seen at this point, you've probably seen all 4 of the manor houses that they have, mainly because each of them is adorned and extravagantly decorated with house crests and colours.
Ah, yes. Well, we'll just walk into one of them that looks important, I guess.
So you head towards the House Ziltus manor house. You can't exactly walk up to the gates of the actual manor house itself, but it does seem to have like an annex extension that seems to be open, not to the general public, but for business purposes.
Yes. Actually, that is perfect.
It seems to be more the official front of the Ziltus house than the actual living part. You step inside. A small bell rings as you do so, and looking up from where she is tending to paperwork is a half-drow woman. You can tell she's half-drow by the slightly lighter tint to her skin, as well as the rolling almost blonde hair, which is rather uncommon for drow. That falls neatly, but still quite a ways down her back. She sort of looks up, smiles politely as you enter, regards you with a somewhat quizzical look, but then quickly resumes her professional demeanour and sort of says, morning. How can I be of assistance?
Good morning. We were hoping that we could have a look at some plans that are supposed to, well, for a underground structure that was supposed to be built.
She sort of like furrows her brow a little bit and says, I'm sorry, you're going to have to be a little bit more specific.
It's a little it's a little unfortunate, that story, but it was it was designed by no, that's the wrong one. Where's the name? Istivir Ziltas.
She sort of goes back to the quizzical look and sort of says, I'm not particularly aware of specific underground constructions that Istivir was involved in. Do you have a reference or some specification?
Well, what was it again? I'm sorry, like I'm trying to recall from the top of my head. I believe that it was the person that what's it called, requested the plans is went by G something. I can't remember the rest of the name. There was someone G someone.
She narrows her expression and just sort of says, I'm sorry, I'm going to need a little bit more than that to go on. Who's asking?
We were asked by some of the locals if we wanted to figure out what was happening around here. It was some people were a little worried about the circumstances of Istavir's disappearance, and we promised we would put them at ease by just looking into it a little bit.
Give me a deception check.
Oh dear.
I believe in you.
Well, at least somebody does.
I will say that was a pretty good play of, I can't quite remember the name.
Oh no.
Okay.
You know what, for Grim, that could have been worse.
I'm like, wait, let me check. If I use luck, do I? I might as well use it now if I can.
Yeah, I haven't told you the results, so you can use it.
Wait, but I'm just checking if I need to use the new one or not. I think I'm not forced to use the new one.
No, lucky. I think you use whatever's higher.
I think we're gonna need all that I can get. There we go.
Or higher. Great.
I mean, 15 is a pretty common DC for things.
I guess she sort of looks at you, continues to look at you quizzically, and sort of says, I guess she says, you're not with Domator, are you? I already told the last lot that you sent through. I already told that the last lot that they sent through here that we don't have any information.
Domator. Oh, that's that. Oh, yeah. Sorry, we're not from around here. Domator. That's the. They seem like they seem a bit fancy and uptight. But no, we're not with Domator.
I see. Well, again, I don't. Do you have anything that I can use as a reference? Because Scion Ziltas worked on a great number of projects.
If I'm not mistaken, it was an unfinished project. It was, and it should have been. Oof, how old is it?
Just a couple weeks old, probably.
Yeah, it shouldn't be more than a couple weeks old. The problem is nobody could seem to find anything about it, so that's why we're here, hoping that you might be able to help us out.
She grimaces slightly and sort of says, well, with the current circumstances, there are rather a lot of unfinished projects, but in the recent weeks, Scion Ziltas hadn't been on any official house business. Or at least not directly involved in house projects. He's done a handful of consulting work, but I don't think he was involved in any direct projects.
Oh, I think that's what we might be getting wrong then. We were, I guess, And I guess then this would not be the right place to come to, would it?
Well, if the Scion was involved, then I'm sure we have paperwork here somewhere. Do you have an invoice, an order, a work confirmation?
Well,
I'm guessing we don't still have that copy of the letter we had.
Do we still
also
have that
copy
letter?
the
Surely we would have
letter.
kept it, right?
But
You
it
get
also said something that we want to hand over.
you gave one copy to the Vismus enforcers. You can have kept a copy for yourselves if you want one.
You know what? I guess for convenience sake, because otherwise we'd just be like, "Oh, we'll be right back," and then try and make a copy.
I mean, surely we had enough foresight to be like,
Yeah.
we should have a copy of this for ourselves.
yeah,
well-
I guess that is also true.
Yeah, it's that's not an interesting challenge that I'm interested in solving because
Yeah,
it's
that's-
easy. It's just
that's fine.
time constraint.
Well, the only thing that we have is this letter that was addressed, that was sent to Wistfire. I'm not sure if it can. Well, maybe that you could tell us more about it. Because this is what we're basing most of our findings on right now. 'Cause it's a little vague, and that's what's making this so hard.
You pass the copy of the letter over. She unfolds it, looks at it, and sort of says, "Again, unfortunately, there's no reference here, and no distinction."
Okay. Well, I guess the only thing I could ask for is, you wouldn't happen to have things ordered by date?
We have records, but if what it is what you're saying is that it's incomplete, then it wouldn't have been filed yet.
I see. And I assume that there's if someone would be kind enough to go through them, there would be no chance to find anything.
Give me an insight check very quickly.
Can anyone else make insight checks?
Well,
Wow.
who else needs an insight check? We've got Grim. Insight king, apparently.
For once in his life.
Look,
Fucking hell.
bureaucracy. I have a chance.
So she thinks for a moment, casts a glance across the hallway, and when you follow her glance, you see basically a corridor that leads off, and at the end of the corridor there is a glass-fronted door that appears to be the source of her attention. But she very quickly brings her eyes back to you and sort of says, "I'm afraid if it was stored anywhere, it would still be with the Scion's personal papers in his office. And, well, until things are sorted, there is no access."
I imagine we can't quite get to those.
I'm sorry, I really wish I could offer you more help, but...
Well, I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say that we wouldn't be allowed to look in there, or would we be able to, if we found someone qualified within the house that would be willing to do that for us, would that be possible?
You'd have to find somebody who's willing to grant you access. I have a key, but otherwise it's been locked since his departure.
Oh, wait, are you talking about his office? Oh, I assumed you were talking about the archives.
There was a small try that again. There's a small portion of the archives that is publicly available, that which is considered to be in the public interest, but if it was a private consulting project, it wouldn't be there, I'm afraid. It would only be city infrastructure.
Um, well, I guess then, like, I guess there's one more question. Would you have any clue who we might contact in order, like, who might be able to help us out in that regard? Like, we're willing to put the effort in.
She plays with her fringe with a slightly concerned expression on her face, and she says, "My orders come from the matron mother herself. Unless you have contacts to speak to her, I don't know who's going to authorize that, I'm afraid."
Okay. Oh, so wait. I didn't realize the matron specifically forbade the access to the records.
Well, it's
house
house policy. It's
I can see that you do not want to upset your matron. That would be unwise.
She smiles awkwardly and sort of says, I'm afraid that's just the way we do business. Private exchanges are kept private.
Well, I guess we'll come back once we have something more tangible, or we figure out something that might actually, well, you might be able to use.
I'm sorry I couldn't be more helpful.
That's all right. You tried your best. I'm sure of it.
She sort of tentatively waits to see if there's anything else.
I believe. Well, like I said, we'll be back. Hopefully. And I guess we'll just kind of pull the others away for a bit.
Okay. Yeah. The four of you step outside.
Well,
that could have gone worse.
I'm not sure how we'll get access. Well, I guess there is always we can always just have a look through the public domain or public records, just in case.
I mean, if we want to take the time to do it, the worst we're gonna do is come up with nothing new.
Yeah, and we did learn something. He wasn't on house business, so that's good to know.
That would also explain his working from home.
Yeah.
I mean, in that case, I wonder if it's something they'd even have records on at all.
Well, now you mention it, yeah, because I doubt he would have taken the records from home to his office to file them. That seems unlikely.
Dangerous.
Well, not only dangerous, but just if you're going to be, shady about things, you're not going to document it well, are you?
Wow.
That's I'm just saying that seems like bad guy 101.
You seem like you put a lot of thought into this, Grim.
Well, I haven't put too much thought in it, but I'm just trying to figure out what kind of paper trail is unavoidable. Well, I'm a bit of a loss. So if you have any, I think I know where they're keeping their records, but
Be a little hard to explain how we got those records.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need to. Well, we don't need to explain how we got them. We just need to once we know what the link is, we just need to explain the link. We don't need to the fact that we we just got tipped off by someone on the street or something. I don't know.
By somebody on the street.
Well, look, we're like. Turns out people like us. Maybe. Like maybe. Although we
People
should
I
be.
feel like there's
want to
definitely gonna be some
gossip,
questions
but
there.
But yeah, well, I guess whilst we wait, we might as well have a look in public domain. We can actually, can we? Well, we'll see what kind of room it is, and if it is something, we can talk about it whilst we're there, if it's safe. Plus, if we get a look at that stuff, then, well, I don't quite want to, go in uninvited. But if we ever get the opportunity, we'll know what kind of sort or filing system they use, which will speed things up.
That is a good point.
Well, I guess back we go to the lady.
Yeah.
Then.
You step back inside. She sort of seems slightly surprised that you're back already, and she's sort of,
Well, we don't quite have much, but you mentioned some publicly available records. I mean, we might as well give it a go. So, if you would be so kind to explain how that would work.
She nods, pulls up a thick leather-bound book, and pushes it across to you, open at a page. And yeah, it's obviously like a visitor's logbook.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, she slides that across and says, "If you just sign in, you'll need to all put your names and residences. Once we've done that, I can take you downstairs, and Torin can help you find what you need."
You know what? That would be great. I guess I'll just sign it with. I don't want to be shady yet, so I guess I'll just use my regular name.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm gonna mess up real bad.
The rest of you sign it as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, the half-drow woman takes you to a set of stone stairs, leads you downstairs, and you step into a cold chamber with a fairly tall chamber with floor-to-ceiling stone bookshelves, which are stacked with a large number of ledgers and folders and stacks of papers, etc. It's fairly well organized, what you'd expect to find for an archive of some kind, but you don't think you've ever seen, save perhaps maybe Grimm in Ardenstar, such well organized city records. Like this is like gnomish levels of organization.
Well, would there happen to be a gnome in charge? Well, we can find out.
You look around and do not find any gnomes, but
you never know.
She did mention someone down here. So...
Yes, she takes you across to a small wooden desk that is hidden in a corner. It looks like it's been at some point dragged across the heavy stone floor to be beneath a brazier. Partly for warmth, partly for light, as the individual there is a fairly diminutive human man with very thick bronze-rimmed glasses. And he appears to be poring through a rather large novel, and is I guess as he hears the footsteps approach, he looks up towards you, regards you all with great interest, closes his book, looks up and says, Celia, to what do I owe the honour? She looks a little sheepish and says, these people would like some assistance with the records. He sort of like looks down at the four of you and sort of says, well, welcome to the archive.
Thank you very much.
It's quite impressive.
Thank you.
So I realized I totally forgot to introduce myself to you. Ophelia, was it? But I
Iselia.
Iselia. Program Damaris. And yes, we've it's a fine place you have here.
Iselia just sort of like nods, like, yes, this is, nice. Torin, on the other hand, is like, I have never encountered a group so interested in my archive before.
Oh no.
Oh,
What have we done? What have we done?
We have awoken a nerd.
Grim
Well.
is going to do the talking.
Well, it's not every day you come across such well kept what would you call it? Well kept archives. It's it rivals that from the gnomes themselves.
The man positively glows and offers you a bow and says, that is exceptionally high praise.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, it certainly gets you someplace.
But
Only in silly stories does flattery actually get you past a dragon.
yeah, you haven't tried hard enough in real life. That's it.
I hope this conversation is whispered between the two of you in the back.
I like to imagine it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I assume you have I assume this magnificent condition comes with an excellent system as well, or
But of course, everything is logged alphabetically by date.
excellent.
What precisely are you looking for?
We are looking for. Yeah, we're looking if there are any recent works from an architect that goes by the name of Istavir Ziltas.
Torrent's
I-
face falls a little, and he sort of says, yes.
I am aware of the tragedy, and it's
A tragic set of circumstances indeed.
yes. And we were trying to help help some of the locals just feel at ease, and this
He adjusts his glasses and says, a very noble cause.
yes.
Well, I don't know particularly about recent constructions that Istavir handled. He took out a number of files on a regular basis. He was very meticulous with his work. He was one of the few other people that actually appreciated the effort that goes into organising this place.
Excellent.
But I can show you around. I can certainly show you the things that he worked on, and a couple of other articles of interest, and if there's any questions...
Oh yes, of course. I think I guess we'll just have a look through all his works in the last, let's say, 2 months. Should be plenty.
He nods and smiles quite happily and says, very well, follow me. He begins to set off, and then sort of like seems to have a moment to think to himself, turns and then says, Celia, will you be joining us? And she's like, and I have work to get back to.
Oh.
Torrin, like with a great deal of stage dramatism, wipes away an imaginary tear and says, a shame.
Oh my god, this guy!
I sense some sort of weird romance going on here.
But yeah, Iselia makes her excuses and departs. And Torrin proceeds to give you a rather non-stop tour of of the archives underneath the Zilta's house. Somebody go ahead and make me an investigation check.
His investigation is highest. Probably,
And
Plus
with Torin's assistance, I will give you help.
Nice advantage.
Yeah.
Boom shakalaka.
Okay.
31.
Well,
So,
Yeah.
Torin gives you a fascinating tour of pretty much anything and everything that Istavir worked on throughout his last couple of months. You very quickly tune out because the entire thing is completely useless.
Hooray!
oh no.
You, however,
because that's rude.
as Grim, Aya, and Kalaris are following him as he avidly walks around the stacks, regaling you with this great history of archiving and construction, you take the liberty of leafing through the large tome that is on the desk that appears to be a back history of all of the files that are contained within here that are checked in, checked out, etc. Like a library log. And you immediately learn that there are 2 files checked out within days of Istavir's demise by Istavir himself that have not been returned to the archive.
Oh shit.
Suspicious.
They appear to be for 2 districts within the city. One appears to be a city block called Meridian Way, and the other one is a region called Erika's Ascent.
Hmm.
So, Meridian Way and Erika's Ascent.
What was the name of our archive keeper?
Torin.
Torn.
I guess, yeah, she'd be like, Torin, where's Meridian Way and Erika's Ascent?
Yeah, he sort of like looks up, like briefly interrupted from his flow, and he sort of says, filed under E and M, I would imagine, unless you mean the places.
Yeah, the places.
Well, Meridian Way is located up in the residential district. It's a rather middle class set of houses centralized around a market and well, and Eureka's Ascent is under dark access corridor. They're quite close together, actually. Why do you ask?
Well, if we're looking for where he was last working, those are the places. So.
Yes, I suppose so. Shall we continue?
Let's wouldn't want to miss out this tour.
Okay. He continues the tour. Elizabeth, do you want to do anything more with this information?
I guess not while we're in here.
Okay.
Hello? No,
I
I
don't
guess...
suppose they have copies of the documents. Like, do they just
Yeah,
have
that's
one
what I was gonna
copy
say.
of each
Is
file?
that... I was just gonna say, yeah. If I tried to search for what you got out, could I find it?
So you go on. Well, I won't make you roll to find things in an alphabetized library, considering your history. You find the sections for Meridian Way and Eureka's Ascent, and it isn't just that these files have been checked out. The entire thing has been removed from the library.
Oh.
Like the whole, everything contained within that, what should be contained within that section is just absent.
Suspicious.
Well,
Because Elizabeth spends a rather long time standing there, just going, "What?" I'd imagine, just out of sheer confusion. Just because that is such a contrast to the rest of this place.
Yep.
It seems so meticulous.
Can I ask Torin about that?
I mean, flag him down if I see him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's easy enough to get hold of. He seems to be a little annoyed that you keep interrupting him.
yeah, this is why I'm out
Yeah.
to ask
I've-
anything. It's like,
Yeah. Seeing this, it's just like, I'm really, really sorry, but I'm a little confused.
That's okay. This entire system is very complicated.
And then I just gesture to the empty shelves, it's like. Why is this bit so empty?
Well, presumably if the Scion checked it out, he was updating records. That's a thing that happens sometimes.
So it's normal to just take an entire segment and.
Well, I wouldn't say normal, but Scion's activities are usually far beyond the normal.
I see. I apologize. Please carry on.
He continues without even letting you finish.
And this time I'll let him finish.
It takes... You're down there for 35, 40 minutes. Until he gets to the end. And then he sort of says, well, with that, I think that's pretty much everything Scion Zoltus worked on in at least the most recent period. Anybody have any questions? About the system, about the projects, any of it?
well, like, I have one question. But like, I guess it's not. It's like, how do you keep these all these records so pristine? Like, surely the
He's
handling of them.
kissing this guy's ass.
I love it so
Yeah.
much. It's so good.
Look, if we needed a records keeper, I'd get this guy.
He pulls a set of spider silk gloves from an inside coat pocket, puts them on, and then does a grand flourish like a magician producing a rabbit from a hat. And he sort of says, only the finest products are used in the manufacturing of these gloves, plus a small minor enchantment. It makes handling them a lot less damaging to the records. And should anything sustain any damage, we keep copies and updates are made and such like.
Oh, we keep copies of things.
Yeah, so everything here is at least in duplicate, if not in triplicate.
Excellent. Well, like, would that also apply to the, the things that she asked about earlier when she was so rudely interrupted.
I shoot Grim a glare.
He chuckles slightly and says, well, in that particular circumstance, he pauses and looks conflicted for a moment. Says, it's a bit irregular to have such a large volume of stuff checked out all at once, but the Scion is presumably updating the record and making sure that all the copies are in order, or he was.
Well, I'm sure. Well, I'm sure they'll be returned as soon as possible.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, everything that he handled is currently under lock and key until, certain things are sorted out.
Yes. Well, yeah, they will be sorely missed, I imagine. But
Yes.
I guess it's.
I wonder how we will replace him.
Yeah. For
You seem
now,
like you spoke to him fairly often.
Well, I don't know that I spoke to a scion in regular basis, but we exchanged some conversations. He had a quite a history in preservation and furthering of well, the city society as a whole, and we both had a vested interest in such things.
Did he happen to mention anything that he was working on recently? Just
Oh no,
conversation?
no! We never would have talked business. He was a very private man.
no. Oh, I think well, this little trip has been incredibly educational and yeah, and that's I must say I'm still amazed.
He like bows even deeper and sort of says, "It's such a compliment. Please, if anything ever takes your fancy ever again, please feel free to come down and take a look. I'm more than happy to show you around, show you all the things. There's still many years of untouched history here that we've not even had a chance to even begin to glance at."
Unfortunately, we'll have to make some time in our schedule some other day. But who knows? I think with all the things kept here, I'm sure there will be plenty of reasons to return.
He nods and smiles and says, "Well, if that's all, yes, you know where the stairs are, and
Yes. Well, have a good day, and bye.
I'll have to get myself some spider silk gloves, it seems.
well, you do know somebody who is in possession of a pair."
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They just never have had much use.
Yeah.
But
They're also designed for a very different purpose.
that is
Yes. Very, very different purpose.
But yes, you headed back up the stairs. Celia is sort of awaiting for you to come out. She sort of looks up and says, so I take it your tour has concluded then?
Yes, and actually, I think we found what we were looking for, and it was surprisingly helpful.
She
thank you.
seems almost faintly surprised. She says, I'm glad it was useful to you. Just sign in or sign back out of the ledger, and
Yes.
you're
Yes, we'll just sign out.
Yep.
Sign out.
Head back out to the street level, and
I
yeah.
like to imagine as soon as they get outside, Arya turns to Grim and it's just like, "So we're going to do the suck up method, are we?"
When a man loves his work that much, it's best not to anger him. He has the power to screw us over royally. If he doesn't want us to find something in there, he knows how to hide it.
I mean, there's a difference between being polite and saying what you said.
Look,
But-
okay, I may have gotten a bit enthusiastic about, some memories may have been jogged, but just because I'm out and about all the time doesn't mean I can't appreciate the finer thing, like archiving.
Like alphabetized sorting system.
I have heard people use that phrase many, many, many times. Never have I heard it referred to such.
Look, Grim has spent rather a lot of time in places reading. He may not suggest it from his appearance, but he has.
Look, I started off as reading, and then I started applying what I read.
I can't believe Grim's getting sentimental about libraries and archives. Grim of all people.
I mean, Grim
Like,
has multiple degrees. Don't
yeah.
shit on him.
Look, I don't
Mm,
think I don't let it shine through all that much, but he's he's done a lot with books. Like most of his knowledge comes from books, and
Yep.
He's an educated man.
Yes. He
Somehow.
just look at how many proficiencies he has.
I'm glad that Luca and I had the same reaction.
like, really. I mean, I will admit we got some information that was useful, but I think we could have got that information without throwing certain members of the party under the bus.
Wait, hang on a minute.
sometimes.
Aya's on my side on something?
I know, right? It's wild.
Well, I'll
Well,
be sure to
anyway,
remember
there
that
is-
next time we show up.
There is
down
some
there.
rather... It has told us some rather interesting things.
Yes. Well,
What exactly we do with that information, I have no idea.
I can't remember seeing anything that would. Well, actually, would we remember anything that matches those records in the private home, or
No. There was
or do we not remember?
given the names that you have been given, those names were not mentioned on any of the documents you found within the house.
I believe, considering how he said all the documents are under lock and key, that might mean that we have access to them. So I think we need to find our friend Rung, and he might be able to help us out. Right? Well, at least that's or is that me making too much sense?
No, it's just... We do have to bear in mind that our affiliation will open some doors, but keep others under heavier lockdown.
Yes, but we're the files we need are under lockdown by the house that we are working for.
Yeah, Grim is talking about going back to the enforcers and asking if they have the records locked
Oh.
away with them.
Yeah, Rung is
Oh.
Rung is our middleman, our contact.
Sorry, I thought you meant trying to get the records out of Ziltis, but yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Well then, yeah,
Like-
I guess we go see if you knows anything about these records.
And otherwise, we'll just have to see if we can find anything in the area, but I feel that will probably be a last resort.
Well, you head back to the enforcer establishment. Rung is there, greets you quite happily. You ask him if he has the files that you mention, and he says, "Let me look through the paperwork." Goes away, comes back, and says, "No, sorry, nothing on those. Doesn't look like records or anything. Most of what we took was just personal transactional history, financial records, that sort of thing. That was all we really got."
Did anyone else search the premises?
You mean anyone else affiliated with us, or anyone else in general?
I guess in general. Because those have to be somewhere.
I don't know.
Well, I guess we might as well have a look at the mansion. I guess we weren't actively looking for it.
I will tell you the of what you found when you searched the study. There weren't any records or anything like that there.
Oh, okay, so there was no chance. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's quite likely that whoever may have been involved may have taken it if it is related to the project.
That's true.
Especially if they wanted to keep it quiet.
Yeah. I really want to know if they're hidden in the private section as well.
Very possibly.
'Cause all copies were taken as well.
Yeah, for frame of reference, that would be a very large amount of paperwork.
Yeah, like you said, there was missing a chunk. So yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that, and it's not because it's like double the amount as well.
If you've ever seen like library records for a particular region, yeah, it's like a couple of large file boxes. Which also makes it exceedingly unlikely that somebody carried them out of a place that they stole it from without drawing some attention.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna do first is wrong. Like, do Meriden's Way and Erica's Ascent mean anything to you? Like, what kind of areas are those?
Meridian Way, that's fairly reasonably upmarket residential region. Lot of merchants there. It's a I can't remember my own names. It's a Rastris district, primarily at least. Don't know too much more than that. It's not particularly interesting. Generally low crime rate. Eureka's Ascent, it's an Underdark access way. Basically, there's a couple of them over the city. Basically, tunnels that were bored a long time ago by the Drow. They've got these... Well, I've never seen one, but supposedly they have these things called purple worms. And they've managed to domesticate them. They carve massive tunnels in the Underdark. Apparently they basically just get these things to funnel up to the surface and then back down again, and that's what made the Underdark access routes.
I've always wondered how they did that.
It's a bit more upscale than it was. It's not just a hole in the ground anymore. It's like people actually live down there. It's a residential region. There's a lot of lodging houses, particularly for workers who travel between the two. A handful of livestock markets. Pilgrim Shrine.
And where is that in relation to Meridian Way?
Pretty much next door. Yeah, basically, he sort of like puts his hands on the table and like moves a couple of things around and sort of says, basically, if you imagine Meridian Way is like a big strip that like runs from one end of the thing to the other and then peters out slowly into the edge of the residential district up to the wall, and then there's Eureka's Ascent, which basically and he sort of like tries to visualize like 3D space, and it basically indicates like a tunnel that goes slightly underneath a Meridian Way, and sort of says Meridian Way is like basically on a chunk of rock that kind of would extend out under the tunnel that comes down from Eureka's Ascent, and then like all of the stuff in Eureka's Ascent is in the tunnel and mouth and around that bit. So they're basically right on top of each other, but not quite physically close to each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can picture it. Man, I wish we had Vandal here now. His rock knowledge would be so useful.
Just call up Vandal like, hey, Vandal.
Hey, can we have
How
some
much do you
rock
know about
knowledge?
rocks?
Can we steal you
Right?
for some
He
rock
doesn't know-
information?
I was going to say, he knows very little about actual rocks. He knows plenty about stone carving.
Yeah, but like, I feel like
And masonry.
construction in stone is
Related
Pretty-
to stone carving.
Yeah.
At least.
Plus, he's a dwarf. He knows how to dig.
Yes. All craft
Wow.
dwarfship is of the highest quality.
Oh, some stereotyping. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like this leaves us with a few choices. But I assume,
That's it.
well, we can either continue doing more try to figure more stuff out, or we can just have a look, like what's happening in Eureka's Ascent and Meridian's Way.
Yeah, it might be good to like check out. I mean, if it's underground, presumably there's an entrance somewhere.
Oh yeah, it's fairly hard to miss. There's basically like a, what do you call it? Like a structure with pillars that over the top.
An arch.
This is now Ferris not knowing what things are called.
Yeah.
That's fine.
What does the thing do?
So, you know those Greek structures that are basically, they have a roof over them, but then they're just like open pillars around the outside.
A pavilion?
Pavilion, thank you. Yes, there's basically a pavilion over the top of a big hole.
There may be a different word for it, but that's like
Yeah,
a word.
pavilion will do.
We also call it a pergola sometimes, depending on what it's like.
But basically, in modern terms, you know, like when underground train stations like sometimes have like a bit over the top. It's basically like that, but a medieval thing,
Yeah, alright.
and made out of stone.
Basically, it's a shelter so that the rain doesn't get in the hole.
Oh, actually, no.
And so the Underdark residents don't have to deal with the blinding sunlight.
I was wondering, Ron, do you know if people's are purple worms still used in construction nowadays?
Not within the city, no. Supposedly they're somewhere in the region of like up to like a mile long and at least a couple of meters like wide. Demolition, maybe. General construction, probably not.
Well, I guess I should rephrase that. Does anybody in the city have own purple worms or control purple worms?
Not that I've heard of.
And it's not something you can keep hidden.
Not exactly. No, most. Bear in mind, I've only ever heard stories. It's mostly a thing used by the Underdark houses rather than the surface houses, because obviously not much call for giant tunneling worms on the surface.
Well, I think what we're gonna have. I think our next clue might be hidden in a underground tunnel. But let's hope that was not what they're planning on doing.
Well, yeah, I suppose thinking about it, yeah, if you're looking for a structure that was built underground to precise specifications, looking underground would be a good place to start, and that seems the most likely.
Well, now the question is, how do we get good eyes underground? Because we could be right next to the tunnel and we wouldn't know.
Arc vision.
No, I mean if there's a wall in between us and the other tunnel, we wouldn't know.
Just start smacking the walls.
Yeah.
They're hollow.
Yeah, knock on them, listen for an echo.
Yeah,
I
find the one that
just
sounds
do-
funny and then put a bomb in front of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how
I'm kind of joking, but also that would kind of
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, the
Look for the
knocking
one
would.
that's... Yeah, look for the one that's slightly cracked.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll figure that part out. Oh man, we need. Wait, does Fandal not have stone sense?
Stone sense?
Stone sense? What is stone sense?
Oh, I might
God.
be confused with a different system.
Are you thinking of
sense
stone
the
shape?
stone.
No, there's one that allows you to detect stone.
That
structures.
sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if it's D&D.
I don't.
don't
I'm
think
not
that's
sure.
I think it's Pathfinder.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Pathfinder,
sounds
D&D,
like
same
something that
thing.
would be in Pathfinder for sure. Fucking stone sense.
I
Stone
feel the
sense.
stone around me.
I don't know why that's
I
so-
I thought
Oh.
stone sense was how Toph saw things.
Wait, no, wait. Isn't there this thing that Fandal can do where he goes into stone walls and stuff? And...
Yeah, that's not stone
Yeah,
sense.
that's-
like shaped
Yeah,
rock
that's-
or shaped stone.
Okay.
No,
Shape
no,
Earth?
no, it's stone. Yeah, actually, it might be stone shape.
I guess we should
No,
just start.
no, because he had one thing that let him phase into stone, and then he had another thing that let him create things out of stone.
Right.
So the things that let him create things out of stone was stone shape, because he could make like a doorway in a cave. But like,
Yeah, Stone Sense is Pathfinder.
Ah,
Great.
good.
Solve
He
the
had a different
mystery,
stone.
guys. That's
Look at
it.
it. Mini thinks we're playing Pathfinder.
You
Look,
might as well.
I mean, I'll forgive him because he has been playing Pathfinder, so...
Oh, okay.
Oh.
If you've been playing it recently, that's more understandable.
Fine.
God.
Yes, recently, at least 3 years ago. Well, probably
Elizabeth-
more like 5.
Yeah.
No, you were playing it
All
the other
this-
day, weren't you?
What?
Kingmaker.
Oh no! No, actually, oh, that's true. But that one doesn't have those kind of spells,
Oh, okay.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to several years in the future after all of this adventures has happened, where Elizabeth creates the spell Stone Sense.
Well,
Anyway.
It
Well-
allows her to sense different types of stone for whatever reason.
how? But okay. Well, I assume there is some. Well, I guess you just use your records to keep track of where everything is. Hmm.
Yeah, that's usually what Ziltos is so big on, making sure everything is. They know where everything is, so when you build something new, you don't accidentally collapse something else.
So
Fair.
how about could we? I guess we could consult them. Maybe we could consult an architect, see what they would suggest, because then we might have a clue as to where to look.
Consult them on what?
Well, if we were to dig a tunnel around the area, how far, what are the safe, what is a rough estimate of a safe specifications? As how far away do you need to dig? Will the walls, the tunnel be at least 10 feet away? Will it be 50 feet thick?
I mean, I guess it also depends though if what they were planning to dig, because a tunnel would need different sorts of specifications than a big room, for example.
That is true.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately the letter does not tell us a lot about.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Rung sort of scratches his head and says, "Yeah, that sounds like a bit of a stretch, if I'm honest. I'm not sure hiring an architect to do a survey is going to solve this problem."
That would be a little too slow.
Also,
For
this person would be so
reference-
confused because they come to us and be like, "So, what do you want done?" It's I need you to tell me what the safe
If
way
there was a
to
tunnel
build this
here,
area.
where would you put it?
Yep.
Well, what do you want from the tunnel? No. Just what
Just
would
tell
you
me
do
if
with
there's a tunnel
the
here.
tunnel?
I want you to reach
We need
this
an
rock
architect.
right now.
Look, we're
We
trying
need
to
an
settle a
architect's
bet.
perspective.
I said, there's no way that, the walls can only be 50 feet thick. And this guy says it's way less. And I'm we need you to settle this for us.
That's even worse. We hired
Poor
you to
fucking
settle a
guy.
bet.
Honestly,
Oh.
some of them might enjoy it.
The
Yeah, I was gonna
architect
say-
casts Stone Sense.
No, it's a special architect only
You know what?
that you can
Yeah.
get.
Maybe that's what the spell does. It
Well-
lets you sense how you'd have to how you'd have to carve into the stone in order to get an
Well-
effective tunnel.
There is still one thing that I was thinking about, but I kind of forgot about for some reason. There is still going to have to be an entry point. Most likely, it's going to be in either the Ascent or Meridian's Way. And I'm assuming it's going to be in Erica's Ascent.
Also, I feel have we told wrong why we've even brought these places up? I don't think we have.
I assume
Yeah.
you gave him an explanation because he inferred context, but
Yeah, we asked about the records because they were missing, and if they had, if he had them, and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Okay, fair enough.
So he may have been able to put two and two together. Well, I guess. You know what? Let's just go have a look. We'll ready your detect magic just in case. And then let's see if we can find anything out of the ordinary. Read?
Sounds like a plan.
Alright.
Sounds about as good as we've got right now.
okay. So you pack up your things, get ready, and set out for Erika's Ascent. It takes you a little while to get there. It's a reasonable distance away. But on arriving, yeah, you basically find this place is like a not quite like a shanty town, but it's definitely more built up than the surrounding area, and the buildings aren't particularly large. They look like the residential places look like they can't be more than one-room buildings. And there's a couple of like open like lodging houses that you can sort of see into that just seem to be like general workers' bunk houses. It reminds you of the tiefling accommodation that you saw in Mardan, basically like the incredibly cramped like workers' quarters. And yeah, there seem to be people of all like types and ilk around here that are going to and from various roles, and most of them heading towards this large pavilion that goes over. And as you sort of come up to this pavilion, you see that basically there is just essentially like a raised railing that protects a probably in the region of like 50 or 60 foot like wide staircase that begins to descend into a tunnel into the earth, and very similar to what you saw in
The swamp.
no
Oh, no?
I forget the name of the city in the Underdark that you went to recently. Evernight.
Evernight.
Similar to the canyon in Evernight, there are literally just homes and shops and marketplaces just built, carved into the tunnels of the walls of the tunnel. And it looks like this place goes down quite a way.
So these are just homes, right? Is that what you said?
For the most part, there's like the occasional like corner store or open livestock market.
In other words, the kind of things you'd want to buy if you were a resident.
Yes. Well, I was thinking...
Or if you are a traveling frequently between the surface and the Underdark.
We could ask if they've heard any noises, because digging and stuff usually isn't quiet.
I mean, in other words, has there been construction recently?
Yeah. Although that's... I also realized that, like, I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier. Considering they've only had a few weeks, they haven't had very long to build things. But I guess they didn't... Oh, I guess they were ready to go immediately, so who knows? Well, you know what, let's just ask a stranger on the street.
Okay.
I
guess make me an investigation check to basically cover you guys sweeping this place and trying to find out information.
Shall I do it again?
Sure.
Okay. So you go through and start asking people, shopkeepers, people in the markets, general passers-by, if they've heard anything, seen anything unusual, blah blah blah, and it's you turn up inconclusive. Basically, from asking around, some people say like, "Oh yeah, I've heard the like." What sounded like people moving stuff around, but they couldn't have told you where it was. But it generally occurred like late into the night. But that's not uncommon for around here because a lot of people are nocturnal, and so on and so forth. You don't turn up any sort of conclusive information on what might have gone on here. But basically, right as you're about to finish your investigations, or like as you're beginning to come to the point where you feel like my investigations are not turning up anything useful here, the four of you round a corner in one of the markets and come across what is presumably the Pilgrim's Shrine that was mentioned by Rung. and you've seen a number of pilgrim shrines throughout the city. Like you saw the one to Tritherion when you first arrived here, and you've seen numerous other to various other deities around the city. The thing that strikes you about this pilgrim shrine is it's built into a wall of the like the stone rock face of Erika's Ascent, and it basically appears to be like the majority of the pilgrim shrine appears to be a fountain, and basically natural water runoff from above is cascading down the rock face and into the fountain here. The thing about the fountain that strikes you the most is it looks basically like a human face with open mouth. The water is running out of the open mouth and pouring downwards, but the eyes of the face are rolled backwards into the head, and it appears to be tearing the skin from its own face.
Oh, that's cheery.
Ew.
Oh, is that-
That's quite similar to the look of the other thing we saw earlier, huh?
The spooky Tharizdun Church.
Yeah. Well, we're pretty sure at least is the Tharizdun
Yeah.
Church.
It's definitely got a similar vibe.
Yeah.
But before we approach,
Vibe check.
what?
Nothing. It's fine.
Not a vibe.
Before we approach,
Oh, God.
Elizabeth, could you, somewhat subtly, just to not to draw too much attention, get a detect magic going?
I mean, yeah, I can give it a go.
Make me a stealth check, because it is not a subtle spell to cast.
Oh, hang on. Detect magic is verbal.
Could we
something,
perhaps step
yeah.
away from the shrine?
Well,
and
yeah.
Then
What
cast
I'm
it
gonna,
on them?
yeah, I was gonna say what I was gonna do is I'm gonna try and find somewhere a bit more secluded to actually cast it.
Yeah, that would be represented by a stealth check.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Nope.
Okay. You there's like a couple of people who give like curious looks into the side alley that you pop into as the three of you stand there blocking this alleyway as a bunch of chanting and sparks come from around the corner.
It's
Wow.
not that. Surely it's not that unsubtle.
It's got a verbal and somnatic component, so it has visual effects and auditory. But I'm saying you get some funny looks as you cast the spell.
Okay.
Oh,
Nobody's like, stop that!
No, nobody stops you.
I see magic.
these crazy, above landers or whatever.
Surfaces.
Like, surfacers,
Wow.
that's it. That sounds better than above landers.
Yeah. All that makes me
Well,
think
that
of is the fucking goblins from Final Fantasy who refer to them as uplanders.
Anyway.
Sneaky uplanders.
Well,
Yeah, you have your detect magic. You approach the pilgrim shrine. Can you roll me detect magic to remind me what it actually detects? Any object in the area that bears magic. You do not detect any magic.
Alright.
Hmm.
so basically, it's just it's like, oh man, how did I?
It could be consecrated and or desecrated ground.
Yeah, there's no
Shrines and
obvious.
stuff are presumably usually consecrated ground.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be worth seeing if I can pick up anything that's not covered by detect magic, because
Paladin
Paladin
sense.
senses.
divine sense. I mean, honestly, let's just call it paladin sense at this point, because like,
I mean,
It
I
is.
mean, the only reason I call it Paladin Sense is from the one horror one shot we did where Aya was constantly using,
Yeah.
not Aya, where Luca was constantly using it as Paladin Sense,
Hell,
and then
it's
and then
good.
ran out of them like instantly and went, oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
oh no.
You
Like,
you
Yeah.
use your Calaris tingle.
Paladin Senses.
so.
Calaris
I do-
tingle, no, let's not call it that.
Oh wait, no. Oh no! I would like to use the paladin sense, please.
Okay.
Not by any
Um,
weirder names than that.
Look, I'm just copying Spider-Man. Okay.
I was gonna say
No, I
Peter
know.
Tingle.
Yeah. It's your Peter
Please don't-
tingle.
I don't like that at all.
Yep. Neither does Peter.
Yeah, the
I
Peter-
really don't like that.
Yeah, okay, so Clarice, you sort of close your eyes and extend your senses, and yeah, you get the immediate, like, unpleasantly familiar creeping sensation across your skin that tells you this place is desecrated.
Specifically the shrine, not like
Yes.
around as well. Yeah. Just kind of like, ooh, that's bad.
I think that confirms we've got an evil
There,
god.
yeah,
in
there, there is definitely some evil presence here.
Yeah.
Are there any obvious doors or anything?
How
Or,
are you?
like-
How are you looking for this?
I was gonna say obvious doors. What do you mean obvious doors?
Well, like, a shrine is usually kind of an open structure, right?
Yeah.
So as like maybe behind the shrine, there's like, in the back wall there's something, or
So you are just looking with your eyes.
for now just with the eyes.
Give me a perception check.
Okay, good.
Because I was gonna say we don't want to get too like investigatory because
Okay.
we're still in public.
Oh, God.
So there is no there doesn't appear to be an entrance to this shrine. Basically, what it is there. This is a essentially there is a this face that comes out of the wall. It is a waterfall, and behind it there is a small offering plate. This seems to be the entire consistency of the shrine.
Well, I guess this might be desecrated place, but it doesn't necessarily prove anything. It's related.
I mean, if related, or well, it might not be related to the investigation, but it is very much likely related to what we came here for originally,
That
at
is
the very least.
well. Shall we? Well, like there isn't anyone hanging around the shrine, is there?
With your perception check of 2, you do not see anybody.
I feel like I could have said anything and I don't see it. Do I see Arya? No.
No.
No, Arya has faded
Ro-
into the.
I
Technically,
forgot
it's
to
lower
turn
than
on
her
my dark
passive
vision.
stealth.
That's it.
Yeah. But Aya is not attempting to hide, so she is immediately
Yeah.
visible.
Fine. Well, we should definitely keep this in mind. But unless you guys have anything to add, I don't see anything that makes this our entry point.
No, we should probably just keep moving for now.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it'd be worth either coming back here later at night or in the morning when others are visiting places of worship.
Oh, that might be a good idea.
Yeah, that might be worth some time. Also, if we hang out, well, I assume they're building stuff here, right? There's going to be a lot of material coming through. Like digging a tunnel doesn't just, magically make the rock disappear. You need to remove it somehow.
Just eat it.
Just eat it.
Got a fun recycling tip. When you're done drinking from a glass bottle, just fucking eat it. Eat the bottle.
Well, shall we continue our search? And if we don't find anything, we can always come back.
Yeah.
Just wish we had more to go on.
What was
I don't know,
that
I'm almost
about?
wondering how relevant this is.
Okay. So you're heading back out into the main area of Erika's Ascent, or are you leaving Erika's Ascent entirely?
Oh,
We'll just head out to the main area, right?
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
You head out the places. It's probably getting towards late afternoon now, so the place is probably getting a little bit busy, seemingly with like people leaving their general everyday work. What do you want to do?
Like, I assume nothing magical pops up. Like it was the last, however many minutes we had.
No.
How do?
You possibly pass by one or two drow citizens who appear to have items of clothing with minor magical enchantments, but that's the only thing.
Yeah.
How do you find a cave tunnel?
How to find cave.
I'm telling you, just go around smacking the walls.
Yeah, but like the problem is, in order to smack the walls, we need to go into people's houses. And I don't feel like we can just be like, "Good day,
Well, no,
sir,"
we need
or
to-
like, or
Good day,
ma'am.
sir, stroke madam. Slash
Maybe hit the
stroke
back of
other.
your house
Can
a few times.
can we knock on your back wall?
Can we just hit the back of your house a couple times? We're not gonna break anything,
I
probably.
I think if you go around asking people if you can hit their back wall, you're going to get arrested for soliciting.
Wow.
No!
Yeah, to be fair, I think we might be able to get away with the fact that back wall is not commonly used.
Yeah, no, that's more your back entrance.
I hate this.
Anyway,
Actually, I hate this a lot.
Your back wall
you know,
will
if
never
we,
be
if
the
we were
same.
saying, "Can I come and knock on your back door?" That'd be much worse than just back wall.
Anyway.
Yes.
But no, like, yeah, of course we're like. I don't think as either as well. I don't think she's suggesting we go to sections of wall that have people's houses in them. I think she's suggesting find areas of blank wall.
Yeah, but like I kind of assumed that it was just like from how it was told that it was just one big wall of like, housing and shops and all that stuff.
Yeah, but if you go
Yeah,
far enough, you'd go to the point that they haven't expanded to yet, and then there'll be blank wall. Or under construction wall.
Well, that's assuming that exists.
Yeah, so this place is pretty built up. This seems like one of the first places they started building in the city.
Problem is, like, the other option is that we have a look above ground, but I feel like it's going to be a lot easier. Well, actually, I say it's easier. It's probably just as easy as down here to hide an entrance. Like how?
Wait, you think it would be easier above ground?
Well, no. I was initially I thought it might be easier to hide it above ground, but like I realized maybe that might not be the case.
I mean,
well, actually, like, what is adjacent to these areas? There wouldn't happen to be any powerful house? Like, someone with power is definitely doing this. So, who would be adjacent that they would be able to access it? Maybe. So you feel like this is kind of a dead end. We don't have the. Oh, we can stalk the. Or we can stalk the what's it called, the shrine a bit, but otherwise.
So to answer your question of who's powerful that's nearby, none of the surface house manor houses are particularly close by. But I will point out that if you go any further down this shaft, you're walking into the Underdark.
Wow.
So there might be an
should we just keep
Underdark
going?
house getting involved.
I think
those are the surface houses.
yeah. I think the problem here is we just have so little to go on. We don't know what their motives. We don't know who. The only thing we know that there's a tunnel, or a building or structure.
Some sort of construction project happening.
Also, somebody who signs a letter as G, but that tells us pretty much nothing.
Hmm.
Like,
That's
yeah.
probably why they signed their name as G.
Yeah, it's almost like using just an initial is really good for keeping your name off of things.
G for Guy. Hello, I'm Guy.
Hello.
That is a genuine name. Their name could be
Yeah,
Guy.
no, I work with a guy called Guy.
There you go. So don't be so quick to judge Minnie.
Well, no, but like, yeah.
You said that
I
like
meant-
that's his name.
To be fair, it's not that far off the real thing.
It's fine.
Menno.
Yeah.
Just take off the last two letters. What's that? Men.
Yeah.
Wow, can't believe men were behind this the whole time.
This is really like really funny. But...
The big reveal.
Well, men are behind most terrible things. Let's be honest.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, but in this case, it's in front, so I'm good. It's good.
Carrying on.
What just happened?
I don't know what just happened there.
I don't know
I
what
feel like I
just
just went to another dimension for a second.
happened. Luke and I just phased out halfway.
Yeah.
Like,
Look.
what's happening?
Whoa.
Basically, I tried to imply that the name could just be,
No,
a cover,
yeah.
and then it got interpreted in another way.
Yes.
Hmm.
So I will point out, actually, probably an object of note as you descend into this tunnel, even a short way. After a while, the arid beige rock that makes up the majority of the surrounding area begins to slowly morph into the black slate-like material that you have seen the pits of on the way to Sintershell Landing, and that the main road and some of the roads within the city are made out of. So, by means of deduction, it is possible that there is, at least further down in this place, at least a small portion of the salt mining enterprise.
Well, I guess I guess, you might. Well, considering it's adjacent, because I guess that was one of my thoughts as well. Is that well, I guess from a mind, you don't need to. I guess you kind of know where you're standing, or what your standing is
Yeah.
structurally.
Yeah. And if there's
So-
if there's salt down there, then I'll be right at home.
Wow.
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 Now, what I was going to suggest is, that perhaps they needed the plans to figure out how to dig out from that mine. Then, because then it could still be that they enter from an adjacent area. But yeah. I don't know we had any. Well, I guess we can have a look at, go near the mine, see if anything suspicious is happening. But I'm not sure.
I'll be honest. I'm more than a little confused and have slightly forgotten why we even came down here in the first place.
Because the architects needed the plans for this and the area above where we are.
Yeah.
Actually, would that mean? Could it be in between the two areas?
Maybe.
Hmm.
It's a good thought. I mean,
That is partly what Rung was suggesting when he was illustrating that the tunnel essentially runs underneath.
Yeah,
Rodian Way.
well,
It
Like,
runs
I-
underneath, but there's still enough of a gap.
Yeah, because I kind of assumed that it might not fit, but that's assumptions.
Well, I mean, surely the people up there have basements. Some of them.
Yeah, but like
Did
that's
we
you
knock
just-
on your basement wall? Actually, I have an instant request. as soon
Don't
as I
start
made
that
joke.
again.
I'm sorry. I was like, this is a fine joke to make, and then I said it. I was like,
Yeah, no. If anything, it's
No.
even worse because people
I-
keep all sorts of unsavory things in their basement.
I'm so
Fine.
sorry.
Anyway.
Well, if it's in between the two areas, how will we? So we need to be checking ceilings and ladders.
Well, bear in mind that what you've seen, places do stem off into that layer, so
Yeah.
it could just be an extension of a building that exists on the layer already.
Like, yeah, this is what I'm thinking. Like, if there's any sort of building project happening, it's probably like if this is one of the first places they built and therefore is pretty built up. It's either dangerously close to the actual Underdark, or it's an expansion of some pre-existing thing, which is presumably some sort of safe house, or otherwise quite private location that's meant to be kept hidden,
Are there any?
or at least indistinguishable.
Oh, okay, this is going to be a bit of a long shot. So we know that the door was the building was locked from the inside, right?
Correct.
When from our murder victim, where our murder victim was found, right?
Yes.
That means most likely they used some kind of magic to escape. Thus, the odds are that somehow it could involve someone from Domator. Plus, they were already being investigated for some, well, I guess audited, but there was something going on with that. So, could it be that there's any Domator buildings here that might branch off into that? They may have wanted to.
Give me a perception or investigation, your choice.
Well, there's one that I can do, and the other, less so. See, that was better.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay.
I did a roll.
You did. Well done.
You look around and ask a couple of questions in some of the marketplaces, and don't find any Domator structures. However, it suddenly strikes you that this isn't the first time you've heard Domator mentioned today.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't
Oh.
think this ties in with the weird audit thing?
I mean, the audit could be for anything.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, as a result of pretty much anything. We don't really have anything to go off
Well-
in that sense.
Usually, if there's a fuss about it, there is some kind of monetary discrepancy, which, like they've kind of said before, we already knew. That would usually be caused by shady business and that kind of stuff, which lines up with everything that's happening. Magic, the shady business, money.
Not only that, but the fact that it sounds like they were asking after similar information that we were at
Yeah.
Siltes is painting a bit of a line here between everything.
Yeah.
Several lines, even.
So, in other words, House Domator might be involved with.
It's
I don't think this is something we should be discussing out in public.
yeah. Well, I kind of feel because otherwise it's a little awkward to be okay, we pull each other to pull everyone to the side, hiding a little bit, and then go back into the public and then hide a little bit. So I just assumed we kind of went to the side for this, but but so if we can uncover any Domator related buildings, even indirectly, we might be able to figure that might be it. like, besides, they also said, like, well, something else that we learned is all purveyors of the less savory gods, well, we're generally from House Domitor. Well, they're a little bit more sketched than most people.
They weren't necessarily affiliated with Domitor, but they did have Domitor protections, yes.
Yes. Well, like, that's what I kind of was hinting at.
Mhm.
So Domitor might be using their influence to be like, if you want our protection, you gotta do us a solid, and might give us a reason to check something like that shrine a little closer. Well,
So,
I
what's
guess
the
we can
plan?
still have a look at the salt mines, but yes,
So you heading down to the salt mines to have a look?
yeah.
The four of you trek down a short distance until you get to where the what is the primary sort of living space of the city sort of falls away into darkness and becomes a more industrial sort of infrastructure. And eventually you get to sort of like what would appear to be the beginnings of the mine entrance, that is barricaded off by a small post, which is guarded by a handful of Vismus enforcers.
So basically that's the entrance to the mine, or is this?
Yeah, the entrance to the mine is like blocked off by a small stone wall and an iron gate, and there are a number of Vismus enforcers defending it or keeping people out of it.
Yeah. So it's a place of business. And it's dangerous and all that.
Yes, it's a
And
mine
money to
shaft.
be- Yeah. I think the problem is we're not quite sure what we're looking for here.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure we don't know what we're looking for anywhere.
Yep.
I think the only thing we can press, the only things I can think of right now is, okay, we can ask if we can take a look in the mines. Because if you're gonna hide a bunch of materials, it makes sense that you're gonna use the mines as a dump. If you have to get rid of dirt and rock, a mine is the great place to get rid of it. So there might be some kind of exit chute here, or some kind of system, but currently, I will be honest, I'm thinking more about some other ideas.
Yeah, I don't think we can learn much else down here.
I mean, I also don't
At
know if they'd
least-
really just let us take a look around, like, just showing up.
No.
Well,
Probably not.
considering that we are out, I think it's safe to flash the badge for house allies.
Well, Vismus might not look at it, but that doesn't mean that the people inside would like us just wandering around.
Yeah.
Don't know till you try.
Well, I think
But then, again, still even then, what would we learn?
that's the hard part. But yeah, you know what? Let's just let's just ask the guards. We'll pull one aside and see if they can answer some questions.
Yeah, as you approach them, they sort of stand to attention, and one of them steps forward and says, "Hold there, friends. There's no access to the mine, I'm afraid."
Well, we're actually here. I don't want to draw too much attention to this, but we're here on business, and then try to subtly show the symbol.
We're showing that symbol way too goddamn much.
We've shown it 3 times. Twice was to like friendly house people. Like,
you pull it.
The first time you flashed, it was excessive. The second 2 times, no.
You pull it. He seems to scrutinize it for a moment and sort of says, wasn't informed of anybody else coming down here.
Well, it's not a planned visit, nor do we need access. At least we don't think we need access yet. We were wondering, would you happen to be stationed here, or like how long have you been stationed here, as in, or how many weeks is this?
Well, there's usually a guard detail here, but this is a bit more beefed up than usual. I myself have only been here for maybe a month.
Okay. And why would the guard be beefed up?
Simple reasons, really. Just basically petty vandalism. Not really a huge problem, but basically, he sort of like indicates behind him to the gate. He's like, this used to be just a simple wooden thing, but people were jumping over, undoing the gate from the other side, and throwing the refuse down there.
I don't know how much you get to see of this stuff, but like, I assume they have to get rid of the mine has to get rid of excess material during their operations, right?
Oh yeah. Most of it gets carted up to the surface and becomes road material.
Would there happen to be? There wouldn't happen to be an unusual increase in the last week or two
of output from the mine? No, not particularly.
Mainly waste material, not necessarily salt or other.
Well, there was, like I said, there were people dumping stuff in the pit, like just old detritus building materials, crap like that. They were just throwing it down, and we were having to sort of sift through it and chuck it out, because obviously you can't just use building materials and somebody else's shite to build stuff with, so we had to have a bunch of people sift through it. Not me, fortunately, but...
Yeah. Well, guess you got lucky. Did they ever figure out who those people were?
Nah. Once it sort of stopped when we got moved in and put in the new gate, and people just stopped really caring about it. I mean, it wasn't a problem anymore.
And the gate has how old? This new one?
Was probably installed maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay, 2-3 weeks. Now that's too long ago. Well, unless you guys have anything to ask, I think you've been very helpful. And
not a problem.
Well, feel free to go back to your post.
Sort of like it isn't quite used to being ordered around by random strangers flashing badges. Just sort of like, yes, I'll go back to my post.
God damn it, Grim.
Grim forgetting he's not in charge here.
It was going so well, Grim.
You're not in charge here.
Well, look, I haven't, if I insult them when I say goodbye, that's fine, because then I don't need them anymore.
Wow!
Oh my god.
Now this is where we're gonna have to come back here and talk to this guy again. He's gonna be like, oh, it's Mr. High and Mighty ordering me around.
Or alternatively, one day he'll get the shift of guarding the fucking mansion.
Yeah, well, honestly, I think if he doesn't do his job and doesn't let us in, he's going to be in a lot more trouble than me accidentally, letting my commander status shine through.
Grim is just habitually in charge after being in charge all the time, so he tends to give people orders. But yeah, he looks mildly irritated, but nothing more than that. But then he goes back to his post. So yeah, what are you guys doing?
I don't know what we need to do now.
Well, I think
Do you think we should mention the Domator stuff?
Well, they may have some suggestions as to how to deal with it, but I don't feel like we have anything solid or as tangible or
Well,
yeah,
we can at least tell them that when we went looking for the records.
I guess that might be. Although, should we?
Because I mean, like,
Well, I
at
just
the very least, it may help other aspects of the investigation, which then might help ours. I don't know.
well, what I'm thinking is. Oh, wait a second. Good. Could they have taken the copies as well? No, because he sank the architect sank them out. Although the main thing I'm thinking of is this beyond? Is this a step up? Because this is like proper house conflict. If we start this kind of thing. But on the other hand, we have no proof that any of this has anything to do with. No, I guess the relationship. No, I guess they are asking specifically for him.
Okay, if Domator is asking for records which may be pertinent to the investigation, that's worth noting.
Yeah, it's a bit too close to be just a coincidence. Probably.
So what y'all doing? Anybody?
Yeah, thinking. Well, we could I guess we could still check above ground if there's any Domator buildings because we've only checked the underneath part.
So, I will say, retroactively considering your investigation role, if you return to the surface and take a look around in the surrounding area, you don't find any. There are no establishments with displaying Domator colors above the surface in the ascent. You travel a short distance to Meridian Way, and basically nothing in Meridian Way is detailed because it's mostly houses, aside from the occasional shop that has names, Rastris colors.
Ah, yes.
But yeah, that's no obvious Domator markings in sight anywhere.
Just trying to go through all the notes again. So.
I am fresh out of ideas.
There's no way we don't have any magical way of tracking down the missing files, right? I don't think it's specific enough.
Yeah, no, not for.
I don't think it's specific enough because. I mean, maybe.
How far away how far away can it be? 1,000 feet?
I think it's 1,000 feet or a mile, but I think it's 1,000 feet.
How far is 1,000 feet?
Isn't that like a quarter mile?
It depends how big your foot is.
No.
30 meters.
Oh yeah, no, I was I was 0 off. There we go. 30 meters is not a lot. Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense, right? Because it's like roughly 3 feet in a meter, so 1,000 would be 300, right? Or like 300.
Wait, hang on.
Am I?
It's about 30 centimeters in a foot.
Yeah, that's like it's very roughly 3 foot goes into 1 meter.
So yeah, 10 feet would be 3 meters.
So, yeah, 1,000 feet is, what did I say before? It's 304.8.
Meters.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
304.8 meters.
Yeah, I was about to
Yeah.
say 30 meters is not very useful for
Yeah.
locate object.
No.
But 300, it does.
30 meters would not have helped us in Mardan.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. Well, that does leave us with do we want to give it a go? Like, we know what the kind of looks like, but
If I'm the only one that has the ability to locate objects, we won't be able to do it till tomorrow because I do not have it prepped.
I
And my thing, I don't know.
The baton can locate objects.
No, I can do creatures.
Oh,
I
sorry, no,
checked
yes,
'cause
creatures is, yeah.
I checked because I also thought that it could do objects, but it turns out that one is only
Okay.
creatures.
So you would need a rest before you can do that.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I mean, honestly, like overnight's probably not going to make a huge difference if that's the thing we're trying to track down, unless they just burn it overnight, which seems like a bad idea. To even for them.
The files have also been missing, or have been not present in the library, not necessarily missing, for weeks.
Yeah. I don't think,
well, like,
as well, those files would be familiar to us.
yeah, I
That's
feel
also
like
what's required of the spell locate object.
No, because it can be either a specific type of thing, or something like specific that is familiar. At least that's how I've always read it. But...
Yes, I think that's how that works. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
you can't do it right now. So what is the plan right now?
just I just don't have any good ideas. How to effectively spend our time. So perhaps we need to go to the Matron's Trove just to get some ideas. It's like maybe some rumors will help us out. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, if you have a plan, it's better than what I've got.
Well, it's not really a plan now, is it?
It's rumor fishing in a tavern.
That's a plan.
Plus, we might run into, well, depending, I'm not sure what day it is, but if we're fortunate, we might run into a friend of ours. And by our friend, I'm referring to Fisher, I believe.
Yeah.
We might press her a little harder on what the conflict was about, because if she can confirm it was like something to do with House Dome or their fight, or Domator, but their fights had something to do with that. That might that would be like a big win. Admittedly, that would just basically be like handing us a golden ticket, which I don't expect, but it's the best I've got. Well, I guess we'll do that, or
Okay.
once the time arrives.
yeah, you. By the time you return to the surface, it's getting towards evening. You're probably getting a little bit hungry as well. You head over to the Matron's Trove that you were given the address for. And yeah, you arrive at a fairly upmarket inn. This place is somewhat like more what you've been used to the last couple of months of staying in terms of the more lavish establishments. And this is very clearly a intended to be a drow establishment, as the building has very heavy blackout curtains in all of the windows. You approach the door. How are all of you dressed?
Normally, everyday clothes, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, Arya usually wears her armor because it's light.
Yeah, I guess we are kind of like I wouldn't. I'm not very fancily dressed, I would say.
I mean, yeah, Elizabeth would just wearing her usual robes, which is at least fine clothing.
Yeah, so Elizabeth is wearing fine clothing. The rest of you are just wearing regular clothes.
Yeah, well, they could try to look decent, but nothing extraordinary.
So yeah, as you sort of approach this place, there is at the gate there is a at the door there is a drow who is wearing a thick hood to sort of like block out the remaining evening sun. Sort of squints out up towards you. He is wearing like a set of like armor. Not like thick metal armor, but like at least like a set of padded leathers. But unlike everyone else that you've seen wearing armor in this place, he is wearing Rastris colors. And he sort of looks up, holds up a hand and sort of says, "Sorry, folks, a little packed tonight."
Well, we're hoping to meet one of our friends inside.
Oh, really? Who's your friend?
Fisher.
Last name?
Oh, what was her last name again?
Maria.
Maria.
Okay.
Oh,
he
it up.
Pulls a piece of paper from his pocket, leafs through it, nods. Give me a persuasion check.
Great.
Persuasion. Well,
Holy
not-
shit.
I'm not disappointed.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Could be worse. By a long shot.
He looks and sort of says, well, Vish is on the list. She's a VIP. I'll send someone to get her. He leans inside the door, has a conversation with somebody in Undercommon, and then the door closes again. A few moments pass.
I think at this point, has it been made obvious that like we're not dressed to the occasion?
Yeah, a couple of people. Probably while you're waiting, probably two drow come up in fairly fine clothing, and like he has a conversation with them in Undercommon, looks on his list, and just waves them in.
All right, we need some better clothes.
Well, I do have a set of fine clothes, but
Did we
Just
all
not
have a
wearing
set of fine clothes? I can't remember.
like I know I definitely
Great
do.
question.
From
I'm pretty
ages
sure-
ago.
I thought you guys like.
Oh yeah, you have a
Sort of-
fancy tunic.
I do have fine clothes.
So the door opens again after a little while. There is another conversation in the company. Says, "Vish is not expecting anyone, so."
we'll sort it out next time. Hmm. You know what? I think I think I know what the issue is, and we'll be right back to fix it.
Great.
I think at this point he evaluates for a moment, and says, "Wait." Points at Elizabeth and says, "She can go."
Fuck.
Yeah, we figured.
Damn.
Okay.
We'll get a we'll change it. We're going to get a change of clothes. We weren't quite aware of the
Dress code.
We'll be
dress
right back.
code.
Alright,
Okay.
let's go fucking change.
So, are all of you leaving, or is Elizabeth staying?
It really depends on Elizabeth, but
I mean, yeah, I think Elizabeth probably looks to the guys and goes, "I'll wait for you inside."
just don't get. Just be careful.
I'll be careful.
Okay.
Um, well, I guess it's time to find this. Yeah, I guess. I assume this is nowhere near our regular inn.
Sorry, say that again.
I assume this is nowhere near the regular inn that we stay at.
It's like maybe 20 minutes walk.
Well, I assume you don't have your fine clothes on you, so we're probably gonna have to walk back and forth to get a change.
So they'll be back in about 40 minutes.
Cool.
Okay, bye.
Only to return to a dumpster fire. It's fine.
So, Elizabeth, you step inside to a fairly upper class drinking and eating establishment. There are a couple of tables sort of spread around the outside. These clash horribly. I'm just going to leave the ambience on. There's a number of tables around the outside, and then a large circular bar that takes up the center of it, and then like an open space where there seems to be a number of musicians playing, and space for what looks like dancing, although nobody's dancing at the moment. You cast a quick glance around. You spot that the Visha is there in a corner off in the distance. With seemingly another couple of humans and a drow. And the patrons of this bar are primarily drow with a handful of humans.
Yeah.
The majority of which seem to be in Visha's group.
I was going to say, if she's with people, not about to head over by myself.
Okay. So, what are you doing?
I guess she would. I guess, there's just a bar thing in the middle.
Yeah.
I guess you'd go sit there, maybe get a drink of some sort, and see if she can pick out any interesting tidbits of conversation.
Okay, so yeah, you go to the bar, order a drink, and people watch. Yeah, I guess you order like a glass of wine or something, so deduct a silver. And give me a perception check as you sit at this bar and people watch. Okay.
Not bad.
So I guess from listening around, you pick up like a general bar chatter, and you get the general sensation that this place is, whilst it's primarily a bar and an eating establishment, at least at this point in the evening, later on it basically becomes effectively a medieval nightclub.
My God.
All right.
Let's go rave!
Which would explain why Ranagar spent his time here until the early hours of the morning on the evening of the murder.
Yeah. Suddenly it all makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, there definitely seems to be like music and dancing and freely flowing alcohol
Yeah.
Particularly
All of a sudden,
on
his
Rastrus's budget.
yeah, like his alibi is actually looking pretty good right now, guys.
And yeah, from tidbits of conversation, you pick up that there seems to be quite a lot of conversation concerning, actually, in fact, House Domator, particularly surrounding the matron mother, which you learn her name appears to be, from what you can hear from the conversation, a woman named Sarah Drazer. And yeah, there's a lot of people talking about the audit, and this seems to be a source of great interest and curiosity among the Rastrus patrons, where they are speculating back and forth what this unexpected audit is about. There are some people saying that House Rastrus has probably been found plotting against somebody else, or maybe they've been getting into some things that they shouldn't be getting into, and other people are talking about perhaps they've got perhaps they've been associating with rogue elements or something along those lines. There's a lot of guesswork and speculation going on around what exactly it is that is happening with Domator at the moment. Other people are talking business, other casual, disinteresting things. And the other thing that you pick up from sitting at the bar and people watching is that Vish's party go to the bar very often and go back and forth with quite a lot of drinks.
So they're clearly getting very drunk.
Possibly. There is certainly a large number of drinks being ordered.
Whether they're alcoholic or not will be found out very quickly, I imagine.
They're definitely alcoholic.
Okay, well there you go then.
Yeah.
I guess they'll be worth keeping an eye on.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess I'm mostly then just keeping an eye on her party, and I mean, this stuff with Domator is probably worth listening in on.
Yeah.
So I guess she'll just be keeping her ears open and basically just waiting for the rest of her group, while also just sort of sitting at the bar and still occasionally ordering a drink when necessary to make it look like she actually is just casually sitting there.
Yeah, you're spending some time. Deduct like maybe 3 silver for a handful of drinks.
Yeah.
What is your constitution?
18.
18. So you're pretty good.
Yeah.
The other point of interest that you pick up, continuing to listen in on this Domator conversation, is you understand that the person who is appears to be in charge of this whole thing is known as Auditor Duscren. And everyone seems to refer to her in lowered tones, almost as if they are slightly intimidated by her.
Can I have those? Can we have those names typed out?
Sure.
So the matron mother of Domator, and then
so
the auditor.
Matron Sarah Drazer Domator and Auditor Duscren.
Is there any mention of a surname with Duscren? Or like any kind of
from the way it is used,
affiliation?
Duscren is possibly the last name.
Ah, okay.
Because
That
they refer to her in a formal capacity.
Ah, yeah, okay, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess he's
Oh,
trying
that's-
to just look like a...
Let me just roll something. Okay. So yeah, an interesting aspect about this conversation is you miss pieces of it, as many occupants of this bar repeatedly lapse into Undercommon when they are speaking.
Hmm.
But are presumably speaking Common for the benefit of the few humans that are dotted around.
Yeah.
So yeah, occasionally you miss bits of the conversation because they lapse into Undercommon, but they don't seem to be particularly bothered about people eavesdropping, as if it's sort of like everybody in this bar is aware of these details, so why
Yeah,
be
okay.
secretive about it?
Yeah, fair.
But yes, after
Vaguely tempted to cast a spell, but I don't know how much it'll help me.
yeah, after like maybe 40 minutes or so have passed, you hear the door open again, and your companions enter, dressed it up. Their clothes are perhaps a little fancier than the general upmarket attire that everyone else is wearing, but they look the part.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of you arrive. Look across the bar look across the room, and Elizabeth is sat at the bar.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'd like to cast Comprehend Languages.
What are the components of Comprehend Languages?
VSM.
That's not going to be easy to conceal.
See, I'm almost. I was assuming there's a barman nearby.
Yeah, there's a couple of bartenders who are going around and taking drink orders.
Yeah, like if there's just someone at the bar who's presumably nearby, I'm just gonna try and be like, hang on, something to help with the drink, and then cast it.
So that's not exactly how you can conceal it, because you have to say a power word, do some gestures, and then some magic shit happens.
Yeah.
It is a fairly obvious thing. You're going to have to go somewhere else if you want to cast it covertly.
Yeah, no, I'll leave it for now then.
I was worried that we arrive and then that would be the second things go wrong.
No.
But yeah,
But no.
the three of you approach the bar, and Elizabeth is there.
Hello.
Elizabeth's hoping that the glasses have been cleared away.
Oh yeah, they're pretty quick on that.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, Elizabeth is there, half a glass of red wine in hand.
How notable is it that it's probably going to been a few glasses?
Give me
over a glass. I've spent 4 silver. That means I've had 4 glasses of wine.
give me an insight check.
Oh no. Well, at least I think you have the advantage because, insight.
Yeah, Elizabeth seems fine.
Mhm.
Do I feel fine?
You feel fine.
Cool. So yeah, I guess assuming they show up, I'm just gonna be like, hey guys.
Hello. Well, have you learned anything yet?
I guess now trying to keep things. Well,
Well,
actually no. I guess given how non-fussed everyone else is going to be about it, Elizabeth probably just say, well, people are really interested in the audit around here. How much is clear?
It's definitely the talk of the evening.
oh, it is quite something, that audit.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'll basically share the information that I've got
Yep.
from listening to
Oh.
people.
Well,
At which point she'd probably say, and then she'd nod over to Visha's group and just be like, they've had quite a few drinks.
Is Renegar here?
Ranagar is not here.
Yeah, not that I've seen.
Well, shall we introduce ourselves to the group? Also, I think just for
Well, I don't think
Vicious.
I don't think
Vicious.
Visha has that good of an opinion of us. I'm not sure she'd be.
Just for fish's sake, we'll be adventurers. We're not business. Not right
Seems
now.
like this is not going to go well, but
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
Yeah, Visha doesn't really have a good opinion of us.
oh well, like since when has that ever stopped us?
I mean, it stopped me, but if it's not going to stop you, go ahead.
Well, like I don't like if we're not. Well, I guess like we've done. Still, you've fished for some rumors, and
I mean, it wasn't exactly hard. They're not exactly trying to stay subtle.
well, I think we might as well try and have a little good time. And I think like she's not on her own, and she might even though not always as willing, she might be willing to to introduce us to some of her friends.
Also, an out-of-character question. I assume there's toilets.
Yes.
Yeah. In that case, she's just going to say like, "Well, now that you guys are here, I'll be right back." And nip
Okay.
those.
You go to the toilet.
Too subtly cast a spell.
Yes. I imagined that's what you were going to attempt.
Yeah.
Um,
Because comprehend languages last an hour, so.
yeah, I will say... Not that I have much experience of ladies' bathrooms, but I will say that you can probably find a time where it is relatively empty.
Yeah.
And get away with it.
Well,
So yeah.
I guess whilst
I
that
won't
is-
understand any spoken language for an hour.
Okay.
well, I guess whilst that is happening, I'm gonna turn to Arya and Kalaris. Shall we introduce ourselves?
I mean, we could do.
yeah, I guess.
Come on, let's go.
So, the three of you are going over, or all four of you are going over?
Should probably wait, right?
What?
We should want to do it in the meantime.
I was kind of. Well, I guess we might as well wait. I guess.
Okay.
Because it is a little awkward for someone to join late.
Well, it was more a question of, like, are you approaching her as a group or as an individual or what? Because...
I mean, surely we
Oh.
should all go over?
Yeah,
Or
no,
at
like
least two of us should go over?
I suggest we go over as if we know her. We do not refer to our our nature. We're just try and have a good time for now. Well, if you see an opportunity, maybe fish for something, but don't go for it too hard.
Okay. So, yeah, the four of you walk up to this table, and you get, like, a couple of odd looks from a handful of the women sitting at the table. And eventually, sort of, like, as you get close enough, Visha, like, looks up. She struggles to focus for a moment, sees the four of you, and then just, like, sort of looks a little irritated. How do you introduce yourselves?
Oh, hi. Well, hey there. Hey, well, hello there, Fisher. Couldn't resist saying hi. And then I'll just like turn to the rest of the table, or the rest of the group. Grim. Just call me Grim. I hope you don't mind if we share some stories. Think you might be surprised as to what we have to say, in a good way.
Give me a persuasion roll.
Why is this the day of persuasion?
Because you're trying to socialize with people.
Who don't like you.
Or who don't know if they like
Well,
us
like-
yet.
You're so adamant in that they hate us. Like, sure, we just
Well,
had like one.
I'm not saying she hates us, I'm just saying she doesn't like us.
Wow.
This is also a Grim's social day, apparently.
Okay.
Apparently.
So,
What?
Visha basically, she like looks a little, well, more than a little irritated, and looks like she's about to speak up and say no, thank you, go away. When one of the there's probably only a single drow woman who is sat at the table with them, who seems to be very much into her cups. Sort of like focuses on you and sort of says, "Hey."
Oh,
Well,
Oh no.
that's the road we're doing now. That's fine with me.
Oh, God,
She's
no.
she's like, "Man, I don't mean to be rude, but I've never met a gnome before."
Mm.
Well, I've haven't this is a drow, right?
Yeah.
I haven't actually, I haven't actually spoken to that many drow before.
Fuck's sake.
She sort of like looks like you've said the strangest thing in the world, and then sort of says like, "You must be out of towners."
Yeah, we are. We have.
Visha, you didn't tell me you had friends from out of town. And she sort of like looks like a little irritated. It's like, I don't really. And she's like, oh no, don't be ridiculous. Come on.
we're
Oh,
just gonna kill her later.
I'm just going it.
Alcohol.
Look,
This is amazing.
fine.
Yeah, you. Despite prickly looks from Visha, you seem to have the interest of the rest of the group.
Oh well, yes. Well, we're out of towners. We are. Generally, we are. Well, it's what would be commonly known as adventurers. We even have the classic tales of rescuing a princess.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
I cannot believe.
Elizabeth's face farming.
I imagine
Oh.
Arya is too.
Yeah.
The one thing Elizabeth and I agree on. Grim. Ugh.
I think it's all three of us are just like, oh
Yep.
no.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? At least Grim goes for it.
Grim, have you been having pre-drinks?
Well, that's for me to know and for you to find out.
Yeah, you get seated at the table, and they're sort of like they're interested in the conversation before the drow, and sort of like, "Hey, you guys don't have any drinks?"
Oh,
Why don't I
mean,
buy the next round?
That sounds
if you
great.
Because buying people drinks is a great way to get in their good graces.
I may have had a few earlier while waiting for these guys.
How many is a few?
don't worry, but just get drinks for
I
everyone.
don't have to answer your question.
Right, so we're getting enough for everybody except for Elizabeth. Understood.
Hey.
The drow is like, no, it's fine. Look, like puts a hand on your shoulder and is like, look into my eyes.
Wait, is that to me?
No, to Elizabeth.
Oh, okay, I was like, what?
Why?
Because I'm gonna see if you're drunk.
I don't feel drunk.
Just trust me. Look into my eyes.
I'm looking.
Okay. She is unable to focus on you, and she's like, nope, you're not drunk.
Yeah, I only had like 4 glasses of wine. It's not that bad.
See, she's definitely the expert.
Mm-hmm.
Go get her a drink,
Yeah,
Arya.
drinks.
Yeah. I'm gonna go get some drinks.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh
comes back
no.
with a tray of Jaeger bombs.
Yeah.
Jaeger bombs, no.
But there's,
Yeah.
but
What
there's
information?
2 missing
You
and
don't
not,
trash
but there's only enough. But there's 2 missing for some reason. And she's like, it's a long walk.
Wow.
Oof.
No. I don't think they have a concept of Jaeger bombs in the Middle Ages.
They do not.
Bullshit.
There is no Red Bull. Well, there's probably plenty of Red Bulls, but
Anyway.
Also, there are many better drinks you can order.
no, yeah, I know that. I
But
just
yeah.
wanted to make a stupid joke.
I deduct 2 gold to buy a round of drinks for everyone. Yeah, you come back to the table with a round of drinks, and Visha just sort of like takes the drink and finishes it rather quickly, as if to be like, get this over with.
It's okay,
But
give her a few more drinks and she won't care that she doesn't like it.
the rest of them are interested in hearing your stories, and I presume you regale them with tales.
Yes, of course I do.
I mean, let's be honest, our Princess Tale is probably one that you can tell in its entirety without skipping too many details.
Yeah. Yeah, so you sort of you don't necessarily get the acceptance of the group, but the group are definitely interested in talking to you after hearing this story.
Excellent.
And then the drow woman again is just sort of like, so how do you guys know Visha?
Oh, she like, well, we haven't like it's not ready yet, but we just met her in the store. Like we wanted some fine clothing and
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. This is
she's-
good at making clothes.
she's great. And I just smile at her.
Oh God.
You are
Oh,
just trying to
dear.
piss her
She
off.
she offers you an awkward smile back.
Oh,
She's just like, I try.
Hmm.
So why are you here tonight?
well. We haven't had a place to get a good drink in quite some time.
The
well,
drow woman says, yeah, good drink.
I know, good drink. Well, yeah, we came in and saw you around. Just thought, like, why not? I'm sure you can have some fun. Like she can be fun, right, guys?
Ooh, not too fun.
Damn.
Wow,
Oh.
burned by her friends.
But hey,
Yeah.
fun.
Mm.
We should dance later when more music.
You know
I'm
what?
sure she will be in a right state to dance later.
I'll hold you to that.
I was
Feel
gonna
like-
say, I was gonna say if you can stand up.
She like look like glance at you like, are you challenging me?
No.
Oh.
No, but if I were, I've kind of had a head start.
I would.
She's just sort of like continues to go. She's like, I'm gonna get more, and like manages to stand up just about and stumbles over to the bar.
Oh
I
dear.
wonder how long it's till she gets kicked out. Uh, well,
Oh god.
Yeah, so you are left at the table.
With Visha and the other the
Visha and a group of other humans who are just sort of like they seem vaguely interested in you, but they're more interested in talking among themselves and enjoying their drinks.
well, like if they're having like a moment for themselves, I assume like I'm kind of close to Fisham.
Yeah, you can sort of like shift into the space that the drow woman was occupying and be close to her.
I'm sure she'll love that.
And I'll like go just like loud enough to get over the music, but like not for the others to hear.
The music is
be
not very
like-
loud.
Okay, it's like I know this isn't quite what you expected, and neither was it really intended quite what we had planned. But well, I'm sure we can have a good time, and but I will admit there are still some questions that we wanted to ask eventually. Well, we'll get to that at some point. Besides, I do actually want to order some clothing from your store. I need to get something better than this, even though it's already overly fancy.
Well, you want fine
Well,
clothes, not
Yeah,
fancy.
the problem with your clothes is like they are more formal. They're not like a party dress or whatever. You are in formal attire. Like you are in going to a
Okay.
presentation sort of attire.
Or a
We'll
wedding.
need some. We'll need some better, like attire at some point. Although we need to wait till we've kind of sort of figured this thing out.
Yeah. She like
Um,
pushes her finger through her hair and sort of says, "If we really must, then ask. As long as we can get this over with, I want to enjoy the evening with my friends."
I guess fine. Well, it is back to the one question that you didn't really want to answer. The one about the arguments. Because we're pretty sure we know what they're about. But we just need to make sure that neither of you are misleading us. Or intentionally deceiving us.
She sort of raises an eyebrow and she says, "I don't know what it is that you think you know."
Well, that's why you go first.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage because she is intoxicated.
Wow.
Persuasion. Well,
Okay.
I guess that's
I mean, it's not
Could
bad.
be worse.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, she sort of like sighs, rolls her eyes a bit, and leans in and sort of says, "They were having bedroom problems."
Kinky.
Use.
Oh my god.
That's good to know. Then, like that puts that puts let's see, remember where is it?
Fears at rest.
That puts Renegar in the clear. So that was the last thing we needed.
Good.
Well,
I hope people
um,
take this as their cue to leave him alone. He doesn't deserve all of this.
well, don't worry. That's why we came to you. We kind of had a similar vibe. However, I do still owe your friend the dance at some point.
She snorts and just sort of says,
You know what, I'll let her down gently.
Wow.
Dang.
And I'll be out, and then I'll be out of your hair.
At this point, the drow woman comes back with 2 glasses of a what can only be described as fluorescent yellow liquor
Oh god.
Oh,
that appears to be smoking slightly.
Oh, double dare.
She holds one in her hand, slams the other one triumphantly in front of Elizabeth, and says, "There you go."
What is this?
Drink.
I can see it's a drink, but what is it?
It's called a poison ball.
Oh dear.
Elizabeth just looks very confused. It's like, are you sure how to make it sound appealing? Heavy sarcasm.
She does not pick up on that.
Yeah, okay.
So, wait. Goes back to the bar, comes back with 2 slices of lime and says, "You need that."
Now she just looks even more confused.
You'd suck it afterwards.
Okay.
Right.
I-
On 3.
Okay, I guess. Okay. I guess I'm doing this
Okay.
now.
1, 2, 3. And then she downs her drink.
Yeah, I'll down it, I guess.
Okay.
Follow her lead.
Bites the lime.
Yep.
Okay, make me a constitution saving throw.
Oh no.
Oh.
Are we carrying
Saving
Elizabeth home?
throw.
Yep.
Probably.
Boom.
Okay. You bite down on this thing, and you immediately feel the heady rush run through you. You are now incredibly tipsy. You are not drunk, but you are tipsy.
Okay.
And
well,
it
Elizabeth
burns.
just Yeah. In that case, Elizabeth is kind of like, ha.
Hey,
Uh,
with this we're friends now.
No.
Oh,
Oh.
how
God.
that works?
Hmm.
I'll be honest. Not really had much beyond the occasional wine and or cider.
Oh, I could teach you so many.
Ugh.
Seems like a bad idea.
So, with this, you have your information. What do you want to do with the rest of your evening?
Well, I feel like there's one thing that has to be done, and that is
Oh, no.
Oh no.
what?
No, please continue.
Yeah, whenever
Yeah,
Minnie
just
says
go
there's
on.
something that has to be done, we're all just interested but also concerned. So, carry
Well,
on.
like I have two options. Either I invite her for a dance, or I've got to because I feel like we're gonna have to split these groups up somehow.
Well, also, I think we have to wait for the dance because, as she said, we have to wait for the music to go more.
Well, okay. So what I'll do is, you know how you went to dance, right?
Yeah.
How about I just leave you guys to it for now, and then once the music gets going, you find me in over there in the bar, and we can have a little dance.
She nods for far longer than is necessary.
You know what? I will see you and your friends, and then I'll let you have
Visha looks
Ace-
almost
well-
relieved.
a great night. Oh, well.
Right, so yeah, the four of you head to the bar and excuse yourself from the group.
Yeah. Elizabeth, probably slouches quite considerably and just goes, I don't think I'll have another one of those.
Well, I think you'll have had just enough for tonight. Although, Claris,
Yep.
just in case, could you hold on to this for me, and I'll just hand the bag of holding over.
Okay, good idea.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah,
I-
I wouldn't go into a crowd with that.
Exactly. I've always I assume I have it fairly well tied to my waist usually.
Yeah, it's usually on your belt.
I will
Well,
keep it safe.
Because I don't want to let her down. And I do not trust. Trust that things will go perfectly fine. But we'll see how things work out.
Well, don't trip.
Okay.
Hey, he'll be fine. It's her I'm worried about.
Well, I do have
You,
two
on
left.
the other hand, absolutely no more drinks.
I am not going to have any more. I don't want any more. Honestly, I didn't entirely want to do that one, but she was gonna keep pressing, so I just did it.
Peer pressure, yay!
Yay.
Yep.
Eh,
But if there's one thing Elizabeth's bad at dealing with, it's peer pressure. She
Yeah.
has some very insistent siblings.
I will also point out at this point, none of you have eaten, so this is probably hitting you doubly hard.
oh boy.
Woohoo!
Can we
This
get
isn't a
some
place
food?
that also serves.
That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
point.
you
It's
you can actually get some food here.
Yeah, that's
All
the
right,
point.
maybe
Oh,
we
you
should
should
get
do
some
that.
food.
I am totally down for some food.
I will go and get some food
Yeah.
of normal variety for all of us, unless anybody doesn't want for some reason.
Well, maybe you should try some of the local cuisine.
Yeah, for 2 silver apiece, you can get a reasonable meal here.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, it is reasonably substantial and made from pretty good stuff.
I
Uh,
think I should drink more.
No.
What? I want to see the eye that caused the spoon.
No, we are never going to repeat of that again.
Not even
Oh,
sure.
I
we-
had a
I also
drink.
I misheard that and heard that as I should drink more, and I was like, no, you should not.
No, I was saying I should drink more.
I mean, Arya can do whatever she wants, but
Well, until she gets too much to drink, and then you're gonna be like, no.
oh yeah, I mean, but I don't think Arya will do that usually.
I mean, I don't think she's so down with being inebriated.
I mean, I'm not drunk. I just everything's a bit wee. You know?
Yeah, now that you've eaten, the room is spinning slightly less.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say I'm using what little experience I have of being tipsy, to which there's just a general good feeling and a slight headache. That's like about it.
Man, you have really not been very tipsy.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
You can't really get drunk on 4 ciders. doesn't happen.
You don't get a headache yet. Headache comes later.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
wait,
I had a slight headache. Maybe that was
That's-
just me. Who knows?
That's not the music track I meant to start.
I love how Rob was like, "I'll get ready to fight," and we haven't fought a single goddamn
Nope.
thing.
Well, I think the problem is that it's very obvious that he thought we would solve something that we haven't. We've just
Yeah.
kind of
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you have picked up on a large number of plot threads and done absolutely nothing with any of them.
What the?
But
We
that's
can't
what we-
solve
that's
it.
what we
We're
always
dumb.
do.
Yeah, we're
Like-
idiots.
Well,
My
like, I
Come
brain
think-
on,
has
Rob.
been
You gotta
blank
throw us
all
a
day.
bigger bone.
I feel like we've made baby steps towards all of them, but then we don't really know how to take the next step.
No, what we do is we dip our toes in the water for every single plot thread that we come across. And go, let's go check out something else before we commit to going down this road, and then we turn away.
Well, I feel like this time, we've been the reason why we're now in this bar is because we literally don't know how else to proceed.
Well, also, I've had no ideas for how to proceed this whole time.
Well-
last session I at least had ideas. Now I have none.
In that
Mm.
case, shall we take a brief break while you collate all of the information that you have, and I will go and get a drink?
Good plan.
Sure.
Okay, we will be right back.